The year is 1014. For almost half a century, the Byzantine Empire and the Bulgarian Empire have been locked in one of the longest and most brutal struggles of medieval Europe. Armies have crossed the Balkans again and again. Fortresses have changed hands. Entire regions have been devastated. And at the center of this conflict stands one man. His name is Samuel, the powerful ruler of Bulgaria. For decades, Samuel has resisted the Byzantine Emperor Basil II. The two rulers are almost complete opposites. Samuel is fighting to preserve an independent Bulgarian state. Basil is determined to restore Byzantine control over the Balkans. Neither man is willing to surrender. By the beginning of the 11th century, the conflict has already lasted for decades. Basil has earned a reputation for patience and determination. He does not expect one battle to destroy Bulgaria. Instead, he gradually attacks Bulgarian territory, captures fortresses, and cuts apart the kingdom piece by piece. Samuel understands the danger. If the Byzantines break through the mountain passes of Macedonia, they can penetrate deep into Bulgarian territory. So he builds defenses. One of the most important defensive positions lies in the narrow valley of the Struma River, where steep mountains create natural barriers against an advancing army. Here, the Bulgarians construct a massive fortified barrier. It becomes known as the Kleidion Pass. The Bulgarian defenses include a long wooden wall reinforced with earth and timber. Behind it are thousands of soldiers prepared to stop the Byzantine advance. Samuel believes the terrain gives him the advantage. The Byzantine army cannot simply charge through a mountain wall. It must find another way. In the summer of 1014, Emperor Basil II begins his campaign. His army moves toward the Bulgarian defenses. The Byzantines attack the fortified positions directly. The Bulgarians hold. Again and again, Byzantine soldiers attempt to break through. Again and again, they are pushed back. The terrain makes the Byzantine assault extremely difficult. The mountains rise sharply around the valley. The Bulgarian fortifications block the main route. Every attempt to attack the wall exposes Byzantine soldiers to missiles and close combat. For days, the battlefield remains locked. Basil refuses to retreat. He understands that Samuel's army is heavily committed to defending the pass. If he can get around it, the entire Bulgarian position may collapse. So the emperor searches for another route, and eventually he finds one. A Byzantine force is sent through the mountains along a difficult path that the Bulgarians believe is too dangerous for a large army. The Byzantines move quietly. Their objective is not the front of the Bulgarian defenses, it is the rear. When the Byzantine soldiers finally emerge from the mountains, they attack the Bulgarian positions from behind. The defenders suddenly realize that the fortress they believed was protecting them has become a trap. The Bulgarians attempt to reorganize. But the Byzantine army is now attacking from multiple directions. The main force presses against the fortifications. The flanking force strikes the rear. The Bulgarian defensive line begins to collapse. Thousands of soldiers attempt to escape through the narrow valleys. Panic spreads. The Byzantine victory becomes a rout. Samuel himself barely escapes. His son Gabriel Radomir helps him flee the battlefield. But the disaster is enormous. The Bulgarian army has suffered a crushing defeat. Yet the most horrifying part of the story comes after the battle. According to the Byzantine historian John Skylitzes, Emperor Basil ordered captured Bulgarian soldiers to be blinded. The traditional account says that for every group of 100 prisoners, 99 were blinded completely, while one man was left with partial sight in one eye, so he could lead the others home. The numbers reported by medieval sources are enormous. Some accounts claim that around 15,000 Bulgarian prisoners were blinded. Modern historians treat the exact figures with caution. Medieval chroniclers often exaggerated numbers, especially when describing dramatic victories and atrocities. But the punishment itself is widely associated with Basil's campaign and became one of the most infamous episodes in medieval Balkan history. Imagine the scene. Thousands of prisoners, already defeated and disarmed, are led away from the battlefield. Then they return toward Bulgaria, not as an army, not as warriors, but as a mass of wounded men. Each group is guided by one partially sighted soldier. The story says that when Samuel sees them approaching, the sight is so devastating that he suffers a stroke or heart attack. He dies a few months later. Whether every detail of this account is historically exact remains debated, but its symbolism is powerful. The Bulgarian resistance has been broken. After Samuel's death, Bulgaria continues fighting. But the balance has shifted decisively. Basil does not stop. He continues his campaigns year after year, taking Bulgarian fortresses and destroying the remaining centers of resistance. In 1018, the Bulgarian Empire finally collapses. Basil enters the Bulgarian capital of Ohrid. The Bulgarian state is absorbed into the Byzantine Empire. The struggle that began generations earlier has ended. The victory transforms Basil into one of the most successful Byzantine emperors in history. He becomes known as Basil the Bulgar Slayer. But the Battle of Kleidion is more than a story about one emperor defeating another. It demonstrates the importance of geography and patience in medieval warfare. Samuel had chosen a defensive position that appeared almost impossible to penetrate. The mountains protected his army. The fortified wall blocked the main route. The terrain favored the defenders. A direct assault could have been disastrous. Basil did something different. He refused to fight the battle on Samuel's terms. Instead, he searched for a way around the obstacle. The Byzantine maneuver through the mountains transformed the battlefield. The strongest part of the Bulgarian defense became irrelevant once the Byzantines appeared behind it. This is one of the most important lessons of Kleidion. A fortress can be powerful. A defensive line can be nearly impossible to break. But if the enemy can change the direction of the battle, the strongest defense can suddenly become a weakness. The battle also demonstrates how brutal medieval warfare could become after victory. Captured soldiers were not always treated according to modern concepts of military prisoners. In wars for survival, rulers sometimes used terror as a weapon. The reported blinding of Bulgarian prisoners was intended not merely as punishment. It was psychological warfare. The message was devastating. Resistance against the Byzantine emperor would carry an unimaginable price. For Bulgaria, Kleidion became a national tragedy. For Byzantium, it became one of the defining victories of Basil's reign. But there is another important detail. The Byzantine victory did not erase Bulgarian identity. Even after the empire was absorbed, Bulgarian language, culture, religious traditions, and local institutions survived. More than a century and a half later, Bulgaria would rise again and establish a new independent empire. The struggle between Bulgaria and Byzantium would continue in different forms. But in 1014, on the banks of the Struma River, one of the decisive moments had already occurred. The mountains that Samuel trusted to protect his kingdom became the route through which his enemy destroyed his defenses. The fortress was not defeated by brute force, it was defeated by maneuver. And the Bulgarian army, once one of the most powerful forces in southeastern Europe, was shattered. Today, the Valley of Kleidion is peaceful. The armies are gone. The fortifications have disappeared beneath centuries of change. But more than 1,000 years ago, this narrow landscape became the stage for one of medieval Europe's most brutal encounters. An emperor seeking to rebuild an empire, a king fighting to preserve one, a mountain fortress that seemed almost impossible to overcome, and a battle whose consequences would decide the fate of Bulgaria for generations. The Battle of Kleidion was not the final battle of the Byzantine-Bulgarian Wars, but it was the battle that broke the balance. After Kleidion, Basil II no longer had to wonder whether Bulgaria could defeat him. He only had to decide how long it would take to conquer it.